In the last 90 days, the federal government has posted 6,628 newly proposed federal regulations at regulations.gov. Our next guest says the Obama administration is using federal regulations to go far beyond their intended limits, instead trying to completely restrict or immobilize viewpoints and business efforts that don't line up with its agenda. Scott Noble, CEO of Noble Royalties, the largest private mineral owner in America, joins us live. Scott, thank you for your time today.
Oh, thank you. Glad to be on.
And you say this is more about not just regulating, but restricting and eventually trying to completely silence efforts or viewpoints that don't match up. And you're pointing a finger at the Environmental Protection Agency in particular.
Well, really what America is seeing for the first time, which they have with the IRS, is what energy's been seeing for the past 4 years. It's a pattern of bad behavior in Washington. It's an escalation of force that is being embraced and rewarded, and it's actually the redefining of regulation going on. So it's a shift from regulating to restricting with a goal to destroy. This should be a bipartisan issue. When we look at 177,000 pages on the fracking comments, 120,000 pages of Keystone comments, when there's only 2,000 pages to Obamacare, it's obvious there's targeting here. And what's going on is we're sold that things are unsafe. It's a sales pitch. And it's a sales pitch to move America from regulation to restriction. It's an excuse for control, not safety. And it's disguised as unsafe. And it's really all about control.
Well, and as you mentioned there, and as we often are told, the Environmental Protection Agency does have an important task. It has an important role of making sure that, our water, our air, our land is safe. But you're saying that they've gone far beyond that, and it's even impacting really foreign relations and issues of international policy.
Well, let's deal with the environmental impact there, because that's big. The iPhone of energy has just been invented. It's called the combination of horizontal drilling and multi-stage fracking. Obama would like to turn that back into a pager with a goal of turning that back into a payphone. So what is going on here is the real endangered species are our military men and women overseas. When you take a flag off the top of a drilling rig, which he has reduced the leasing by 50% in America. When you take that flag off that rig, you replace that with a flag on a coffin coming home from us protecting oil pathways unnecessarily, and it's time America stands up and gets bipartisans and doesn't fall for these phony scare tactics. By the way, newsflash, there's no more dinosaurs, and it wasn't caused by campfires or cavemen. It was caused by the evolution of Earth, and no PAC is going to turn that back. CO2 is 0.04% of the atmosphere, and it's not a poison. Another flash. We're going to hear about that next week. So it's just a shame that we can't get together our wounded warriors. We can't get together all these ex-military men and have a march on the EPA and have a march on the BLM because we have the moral high ground that it's right to have a flag to drill to bring our people home.
Well, how do you respond, though, to the president saying that what he's doing is making our country safer? It is making us more energy independent by looking at things that can power our homes and our cars and those kinds of things, rather than having our men and women overseas fighting for things and protecting things that make us rely on foreign governments that don't always have our best interests at heart.
Well, we have the ability to get on our own natural resources right now, and he's turning his back on it. When you cut leasing by 50%, you're turning your back on becoming the next Rockefellers. The reason why? He doesn't want oil companies to be wealthy. This is about control. Do you want to increase the wealth of the citizens, or do you want to increase the wealth of the government? When you tax the people rather than grow the revenue in the federal reserves, then you are choking back the private sector and increasing the government sector. You are reducing the employees in the private sector and increasing the employees in the government sector, and it has to do with the voters. This is a lot more about control. They're using green as an excuse. The real endangered species is not the burrowing beetle, is not the prairie chicken. It's our men and women overseas. We need to get together. We need to drill on our natural resources. The timing is perfect. With one well site, we are bringing home 30 times the revenue, 30 times. It's such an uphill battle for the environmentalists, and all they can do is simply say, it's 50% unsafe, and that's just not true.
All right. It's a very important conversation. Scott Noble, thank you very much for joining us for this week's Regulation Nation.
Thank you.